What's up, everyone? It's Benedict here, aka BHL Hudson. Welcome back to the BHL2 channel. Apologies for the look and the voice. I'm currently a little bit under the weather. I might have gotten sick watching the absolute cinema that is Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but that is what we're here to talk about today. I'm reviewing FNAF 2, the horror sequel that came out last weekend. Let's get into it. This one probably won't be too long. I don't have crazy thoughts on this, but yeah, I wanted to talk about it because it is sort of the movie of the moment, somehow. First of all, FNAF 2 pros. I actually had a lot of fun watching this movie. I'll give it that absolutely. Most of it was unintentional fun. I was mostly laughing at the movie, not with the movie. But that still counts for something. You know, I made a video on the main BHL channel recently where I talked about the first FNAF movie as like, if I have fun watching it, are there really any losers? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I got my money's worth. And yeah, in a so bad it's good way, and also in a FNAF is funny, because, like, of various FNAF brain rot I've consumed over the years, like, this was a pretty enjoyable cinema experience overall. Particularly the Wayne Knight bit I found to be amusing. When Wayne Knight, spoiler alert, he is in this movie, and he does get killed by one of the animatronics, and it was a very slapstick, over-the-top scene, and it was very funny. I enjoyed that. And it also, it's always rough when you're busting this out as a pro for the movie, but I think this will work very well for the crowd it's intended for, whether that be FNAF fans, who, like, really love the lore and the games, and, you know, who come to the cinema with the plushy toys and this kind of stuff, or FNAF sort of ironic enjoyers, a little bit like myself, I suppose, or also just generally children, like, like, I would say, like, 12-year-olds who, this is, like, your first horror movie type of thing. This is very first horror movie at a sleepover kind of vibe, where it's not actually scary, it's not, I mean, it's rated PG-13, it's not actually that, like, violent or whatever, but there were, like, 12 to 15-year-olds in the audience who were, like, gasping when someone's head gets crushed, or, you know, some other PG-13 styled horror violence happens, and they thought all the jokes were funny. They seemed pretty into it. It was a big FNAF fan audience when I was there, and they seemed very happy. They were freaking out. It was hard to tell how much of it was like unironic and how much of it was ironic, because I mean, there was points where, like, someone would yell, like, "It's Foxy" when a character appeared on the screen, and like, would laugh hysterically at jokes that I don't think were that funny, but yeah, I mean, they enjoyed it one way or another. So, you know, there's got to be something for that. And I did laugh at the plushy toy that made the sound. That was a bit amusing, I have to say. In terms of FNAF 2 cons, those are my pros. Yeah, it was unintentionally funny, and I think kids will like it. Because the cons are, yeah, it's terrible. But again, I'd like to stress, it's not a movie that, like, upsets me or angers me with, like, how poorly it's made. Like, there are some movies where I watch them, not that I get angry at a lot of movies, but I watch them, like, come on, dude, like, fuck you. This is just, like, such garbage, slop, like, lazy, whatever. And this was not one of those movies where I felt that way. Like, it's just, you know, it almost feels like a genuinely bad movie. Like, I feel like nowadays there are a lot of bad movies where it's like, this was, you know, this feels like no effort was put in, this is soulless, whatever. This feels a little bit more like a classic bad movie, which, by the way, how cooked is Hollywood, that, like, this is something I'm complimenting. But where it's like, you know, people seem to maybe have fun making this, and they seem to put a bit of effort in. It just, like, it's just all really bad and poorly done and didn't pan out. Like, there's something weirdly a little bit charming about that compared to, like, pure slop stuff that we sometimes get. But no, I should stop making excuses for this. I mean, it's very bad. It has the same feel as the first film. I have trouble, like, pinpointing exactly what it is. I feel like maybe a lot of the shots are centered, or there's something about the lighting or something. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe I should do a deep dive analysis, but there's something about the way these films are shot where they just look cheap. Again, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it just has, like, a sort of cheap feel to it to me. And in terms of the actual plot and the story, I talk about this a little bit on the Poorly Planned podcast episode we do, but I think the main problem with this is that the FNAF lore It's crazy. I am not as familiar with it as as anyone should be. I should get on that for sure. But, I'm vaguely aware of the enormity of the FNAF lore. And I get that you can't just do that for a movie. Like, it would be sort of incomprehensible nonsense, and it would alienate normal people going to see the movie, as opposed to, like, FNAF fans who know all the ins and outs of the lore. But what they've done here is that they've given us, like the first film, this Josh Hutcherson, like, point of view character, I guess, or main story to help get mainstream audiences through this lore and world or whatever. And it's a really, like, boring, uninteresting story. Like, his character, his sister, the female cop character, none of them are very interesting. None of the performances are very good. And it's just sort of like, it feels a little bit like you're killing time until you get to the FNAF bit, the animatronic bits. And then the FNAF bits are still kind of confusing to someone who does not know, a ton about the FNAF lore. I don't know, there's still moments where I'm like, wait, which set of animatronics is this? Like, there were multiple sets of animatronics, and spoilers, I mean, I assume you might have seen the film, or at least this clip on, like, Instagram or something, but at the end, the original FNAF animatronics come out and fight the new FNAF animatronics, and again, I will say, people in the cinema were going fucking crazy, so, like, I assume that went super hard if you're, like, a FNAF fan. But there was part of me that was like, wait a minute, those are different animatronics? Like, I was like, wait, those aren't the same animatronics from the first movie? And maybe I wasn't, like, paying close enough attention, maybe that's on me. But I feel like there were, like, 3 different sets of animatronics in this, and I was having trouble keeping track of, like, which ones are good or bad or under control of another marionette thing, and, I don't know, it seemed like it did want to include, a lot of references and also a lot of just stuff, like, iconography of FNAF, which leads it to be a bit messy and confusing. And so I just feel like they sort of fucked it with, like, your point of view, mainstreamified main story is not very interesting, and the lore stuff is still confused. You didn't get any of the benefit out of doing this style thing. Maybe you would have been better suited just doing, like, a insane FNAF lore, like a fucking MatPat video, but turned into a movie or something. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, wasn't crazy about that. And also, yeah, it's not a scary movie. I mean, it has jump scares and stuff. And again, it's good for, like, your first sleepover horror movie type of vibe. But it's not... Yeah, I thought especially the marionette girl, the marionette puppet thing, it like, takes over a girl. And that design just looked very, like, Snapchat filter / like, shitty, low-budget 2010s horror movie villain type of vibe. I feel like there's a specific one that I'm trying to think of, where it has that sort of look. I don't know, a little bit like, it's not the same look, but a little bit New Mutants-esque. Do you remember those, in the New Mutants, those, like, faceless or, like, eyeless monsters, whatever, that just had this, like, generic horror movie, again, like, PG-13 horror movie type villain. I don't know, it had that energy. Yeah, just, not great. So yeah, I mean, there's only so much depth I can go into with the FNAF movie. I think that Smiling Friends meme with the inspector or whatever, like, my building's perfectly safe. No, it's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen, but, it made me laugh or whatever. I think that sums up my thoughts on this pretty well. It is a, pretty god-awful movie, but it's pretty fun for, what it is in that sense. And it has a little bit of charm to it, even though it's, like, terrible, but, like, kind of the terribleness is a little bit of the charm, I guess. I don't know. Whether you'll enjoy this ironically or unironically kind of depends on your FNAF level of fandom. I also think who you see this with could change it. Yeah, I'll be honest, if I saw this alone, I probably would not be, in this good a mood talking about it. I saw it with my friend Freddy, and we had a lot of fun watching it. But yeah, if I saw it alone, I'd probably be a little bit less charitable. That being said, I'm not going to be super charitable, because I'm going to say 1 star is my final verdict for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So yeah, those are my thoughts on FNAF 2. What did you think of it? Let me know down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like and subscribe. You can find my main channel, BHL Hudson, my podcast, The Poorly Planned Podcast. This week's episode, we do talk about FNAF 2 in a bit more depth, if you can believe that. You can check out my Instagram, BHL_Hudson, and my Letterboxd at RealBHL Hudson. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.